Marty, thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be invited to speak before this group today. USCA is the U.S. member committee of the World Energy Council, and I was asked to bring a little bit of a global perspective to this issue, which I'm very happy to do. The World Energy Council has focused largely on looking at three key issues that determine how well energy markets are functioning. And that is accessibility, availability, and acceptability, which the World Energy Council now refers to as the 3 A's. I'll talk about accessibility first. And the way the term accessibility is used, it relates to providing energy services that are reliable and affordable and on a commercial basis. Now, it's important to recognize that 2 billion people in the world, 2 billion people, have no access to commercial energy. No access at all. They rely on dung and in some cases a little bit of wood that they might find, but they have no idea of any of the kinds of things that we're talking about here today. They'd love to have a grid. They don't care if it's a smart grid or not. They just love to have a grid. So that's a third of the people in the world. Another third of the people in the world have inadequate access to commercial energy, meaning that they might have it for an hour or two a day, but certainly nothing 24/7 the way we think of it. The World Energy Council term of availability relates to reliability and in terms of both quality and quantity of energy supply and all across the board, every type of fuel, not just electricity. And then the third A, acceptability. And this the World Energy Council views as relating to public attitudes, including, of course, environmental protection. But it's certainly more than climate change, although climate change is very important in many countries, more important in some cases than the way the American public looks at it. But in many cases, local pollution is a real health hazard today, and people are trying to grapple with that. But it also concerns technology selection and deployment, facility siting, which certainly in the OECD countries, in North America, in Europe, and Japan, is a key aspect of how energy systems work, but also waste treatment and disposal, and in many countries, resource extraction become key issues. Now, the real question I want to speak to is, what do customers really want? What are their real concerns? And price is a real concern, as we just learned from our consumer advocates. But it's more than just a vague sense of what it costs. It's reasonabness of the cost and the stability and predictability. And I think we're finding this to be a real concern right now. Many of you may or may not know that prices in Maryland, for example, where I live, have reached such a level, an unexpected level, that there's all kinds of investigations going on in the state capitol, looking at why prices are so high right now. But it's more than price. It's also terms and conditions. It's interconnection fees, particularly for distributed resources. It's disconnection fees when people have difficulty like they are now paying their bill. And it's even simple things that some of us don't think about, deposit requirements. They also are looking for equity. People don't generally mind paying their fair share, but they don't want to pay somebody else's fair share. They want price parity. They really don't want subsidies. They do want customer service, though. They want responsiveness. They want somebody to pick up the phone when they call. They want the communications to be clear and direct. They prefer to talk to somebody who speaks the same language that they do. They prefer someone who's competent and someone who's knowledgeable and can answer their questions. And they sure want convenience. They don't want to put up with hassles. They want things simple. I'm not real sure how many customers want to get entangled in some of the smart grid issues that were presented earlier. I think a lot of people just want it to be very, very simple. And those who do have access to energy would prefer that markets be sustainable, and that across the board, not just environmentally sustainable, but socially and economically. And people are a little bit concerned about corporate governance. Our industry has gotten a couple black eyes in the past from not operating our businesses well. I think most of us still remember the Enron days. But you look at the banking crisis that we're facing now, and most customers would look at that and wonder really where the transparency, the accountability, and the honesty are in looking at how some of these companies are operated. There's also a real concern over government oversight. People have lost faith in the ability of governments to regulate energy markets. That's a reality that we're seeing now. We've seen it in the past. People do like the idea of choice. They don't really like monopolies. They don't really care about market design. Most customers don't understand market design, so it's not a concern to them. But just the notion that they don't have anything they have to deal with their local monopoly, they don't have a choice, is troubling. And one of the most important things that people really want is public input. And when we look at the need for building new transmission in the United States, I just wonder how easy that's going to be when you see the obstacles that develop to siting new facilities. And we all know the NIMBY issue, not in my backyard, which evolved to banana, build absolutely nothing anywhere nor anytime. Then it became NOPE, N-O-P-E, not on planet Earth. And the most recent one is DADA, D-A-D-A, design, announce, defend, and abandon. And I just wonder, as we see the need for new transmission facilities, that some of these issues are going to arise. And customers would like things to be standardized. They don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, but they tend to like the notion that they can go to any gas station and the nozzle that they put in the car is exactly the same. They like the notion that they can plug in an electrical appliance, and any appliance in the United States works with any socket that you plug it into. They would like standardization of regulation and rules, though. And this is one of the things that we see evolving, particularly when you look at things like renewable portfolio standards or some of the regional greenhouse gas initiatives that are taking place in the United States. We're evolving into a system that is not particularly standardized at all. And finally, just to leave you with a thought, what do customers really want and think about? They don't really want to think about energy at all. They really don't. They want it simple. They wish it were hassle-free. They want it to be inexpensive. They want to flick the light switch, and they want the electricity to come on. They want to stop and get gasoline at the filling station that's on their way to work on the right-hand side of the road. They'd actually prefer not to even have to do that. They really would rather not have to get out of their car and go to the gas pump and pump gasoline into their car. They really prefer things to be simple, hassle-free, and cheap or inexpensive. Thank you very much. I look forward to your questions.